as we help men find their place in the modern world. Through engaging interviews with experts and members of the community, we provide a clear picture of what healthy masculinity looks like as an example for boys and girls. Our mission is to provide a voice for men to help them navigate the challenges that they face and provide hope for a brighter future. So tune in and join the conversation on The Wrecking Trade. Together, we can make. I'm your host, Robert Lynch. Today we have an interesting conversation. Today we're actually talking about gratitude, and it came to me really in an interesting way. So I have this lady who comes to my house, and she cleans and she takes care of everything and she washes everything. And so I went in. So when she comes, she takes the towels, she takes everything, right? So before now, it happened. I came in, she took the towels. I'm in the shower, and I already walk in the shower, no clothes, but then there's no towel. You know, it's not the end of the world, but it's an inconvenience. Now the water's already running. You have to walk out back the towel, wet up the place to go get a towel. All that happens. Right. So the next time she came there in the morning, and I saw her take out the towels, and it occurred to me that, hey, if I don't do it now, I'm going to forget. So I needed to take a towel, bring it to the bathroom, and just hang it. So when I'm ready to bathe, it's there. So said so, then I walk in, and just as I thought about it, I said, oh no, I need to get a towel. But then I looked up, and there's a towel there. And I had to be grateful to myself from earlier in the day to say, I had you, younger self, a couple minutes older, a couple hours older, had the forethought to just do something so that I can be grateful now. And it made me think about how many things that, where we are right now in our lives, what are some of the things that we had to put in place? What are some of the things that we had to make a commitment to do? What are some of the things that we had to work through so that we could be here now? And then it also made me think about what are some of the things that we need to be doing now so that 10 years from now, our 10 years older self can be grateful for. And then even in the midst of that, what are some of the things that we wish that we knew when we were younger so that we could have had those things in place now. So, of course, with me tonight is
Osmond Lynch, and I am here to be a part of the wrecking trade and discuss on the topic of gratitude. And as Robert shared his story just now, and I'm listening closely, I'm thinking, what am I going to be saying about what can I put in place, or what have I been putting in place to exercise my gratitude now? So my name is Osmond Lynch, and I'm here with Robert Lynch.
Awesome. And as always, behind the controls, we have
Dwayne Lynch. Dwayne Lynch. Euter.
Everybody's Lynch in the studio tonight, right? So, Dwayne, let me start with you, because, you're the most senior of citizens here with us.
Geriatric.
Right? So, first question. Let's just, how many people actually know you're doing?
Let me just say thank you for just putting me on the spot. I didn't know I was on the show. But the last time I count,
yes,
I didn't know how many people persons know me. But I just know it's a lot.
It's a lot.
A whole lot. And each day, it gets funny. You've been in radio for, this is what, 12 years or something there? And you walk up on the road sometimes and somebody just come on all excited, hug you up.
Yeah.
I know the voice. I finally meet him. One day somebody said, Dwayne! And I was like, kind of cute because I don't know who the person is, but I can't act like I don't know her.
Because they're excited to see you.
Excited to see me. But she know me a long time. First time she see me though.
You're like a superstar that you don't know about.
You see it, yeah. Yeah, but I don't know how many persons know me.
Okay. All right. But you've been, like you said, you've been in the industry for a long time, and you can see the fruits of your labor going back into years. Yes. How about you, Osmond? How long have you been doing what you are doing now?
Well, first of all I do is personal training. Now, I've always been in the field of training. I was first training dolphins. Now I'm starting to train people. And I've been in the training experience for at least, I would say, 15 years and ongoing. I've been in it a long time. And just like with Dwayne, a lot of times I get called out or people say hi to me or whatever it is, and I don't know who they are, how many people I know, but just by my reputation in coaching and training, it has caused me to know people, and people who I don't know me. So it's yeah. So Ascore Fitness is here. This is the opportunity where I um share that yes, I've been a trainer. I have my own brand, my own business, Score Fitness. We do online training of an online platform. I do personal training, everything that you need to know about fitness training and nutrition and everything under that.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And something else that I'm grateful for, I'm going to circle back to that, is usually I come in the studio and then I have to ask Dwayne to give me the number because I forgot to ask him to give me the number before the show starts, and then he has to read it out. But tonight, before the show starts, I actually wrote it down. And so the numbers, for those of you who are listening on what to call, 945-9029, 945-9029.
So like you're soliciting a thank you.
But that's the interesting thing about gratitude. I find that for you to be grateful, you actually have to learn a lesson. So like I talked about when I was in the show the first time and I had to walk out, I learned the lesson. And so I could put the thing in place so that this time around, you would have been able to have a different or get that thank you. Here, same thing with the phone number. So question to both of you. What are some of the things, lessons that you would have learned before now that you think has been a great impact to where you are now?
What are some of the lessons that I've learned? Well,
That, and I mean, we can phrase it as, what are some of the things that you'd thank your younger self for?
what I would thank my younger self for being very interested in health and fitness, because as a result of that interest when I was younger, doing my push-ups, running with my dad, just being interested in being this fit person has led me to the place where it is now my career, and I'm a reflection of that. I'm stronger physically, I'm stronger mentally, and it also helps me spiritually. So I'm grateful to my younger self for keeping that side of me and never letting it die. Along the way, just always wanting and having passion for health and wellness and fitness. So I'm grateful for that one application that I did earlier, that I can say it's paid off and it's still continuing to pay off.
Because not only is it providing for you, putting food on the table, but it's also put you in a state of health,
Yes.
right? And that does not happen overnight. So that's, I mean, so that's a really big thanks that you're throwing to your younger self.
Thanks, really big thanks that I can always look back and be proud of.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
I'm grateful for my. Like, this guy just keeps throwing me on the spot. I'm so grateful to myself for acknowledging from a very young age that I'm different, and nothing was wrong with that. And I pride myself in just being different. I'm grateful to my younger self for trying to be original all the time. I just wouldn't copy. I would try to find my way of doing it, and that came out of the thought from early, when everybody interested in the stories of David and Goliath and Samson and whatever. I was always, what scripture in the Bible could be written about me? So stories are good, they're all good, and I always want to be this original person. If you notice, I don't know, I'm dyslexia, which means I see things differently.
And you've come to appreciate that.
And I've come to appreciate that. I've come, and my uniqueness and my originality has created a lot of things. A whole lot of things.
Okay. And as you think about that, and this is to both of you in terms of thinking about your younger self and thinking about the things that you're grateful for, the story is told about the 10 persons who were healed by Jesus and only one returned, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say to your younger self as you're giving yourself, patting yourself on the back, telling your younger self a thank you? What would you say to your younger self in appreciation for where you are now? Or, I mean, what would you say to your younger self? And this connects to, there's maybe someone who's listening now, and they're young, and in a decade or so they will be old, and so they like to look back and say, hey, I got that pattern from Dwayne. Let me thank my younger self, or sometimes let me thank my younger self from now. What would you say to your younger self?
What would I say to my younger self? I'd say to my younger self, well done,
Mm-hmm.
good job. The work that you were putting in, the work that you have put in is now paying off. And I'll say to my younger self that you've never, you did well in not losing your passion for something that now is rewarding you. So good job to you.
Well done, well done. How about you, Dwayne?
Um, Thank you for at a young age being original.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for accepting that you were uniquely made.
Mm-hmm.
From when I was very young, I heard that a million sperm cells were fighting to be me,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just me.
You.
I was the
You made it.
successful one. I made it.
Mm-hmm.
I may not be able to run as fast as Bolt, but
Mhm.
I won a 1 million man.
And one.
First
I won
place.
1 million man, and I came first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really grateful that in an era where, I mean, back in my days, young boys wanted to be the Michael Jackson. Young boys I wanted to be Dwayne,
Mm-hmm.
because I just think that there was something, and I still think that there's something very special about Dwayne, and so I really thank my younger self for, one, accepting and listening to my parents, my mother in particular, who assured me that I was unique, I was special, and I'm going to be a special person when I go older.
You wanted to add something?
No.
And it's interesting, because I can look back at my younger self and realize that it wasn't easy.
No.
And you can, right now, we have the benefit of hindsight. We can look back and say, hey, the exercise paid off or the uniqueness paid off. But in the moment, being unique meant you didn't fit in.
No.
Making this commitment meant, hey, it's hard work.
Yeah.
And you don't know where it's going to take you. And there are, I imagine, some other decisions that you would have made along the way that didn't pan out. But these would have happened to pan out. So, in the moment, no one knows, or we don't necessarily know which ones will take us to greatness and then which ones will fall along the wayside. And so, in the moment, making those decisions, making that commitment is a very difficult space to be in. Looking back, is there anything that you'd credit that gave you a little bit of extra push to help you navigate? I remember, I think you said just now, you said your mother.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So my mother introduced me to Jesus early.
Yes.
Mind you, I'm not talking about introduced me to church.
Mhm.
My mother introduced me to Jesus. My mother had an incredible faith, like incredible faith. So much that I would do incredible things. I would do weird things. I was the Elijah, who let me tell you how my faith worked. I grew up in the country.
Mhm.
We used to have, if there's a holiday, we would have day social. You know what we call it social? You know social, right?
Mhm.
So we go out and play ring games, blah blah blah. So it was a day soldier on social on this big playing field. There was a woman in church. She was older than I am. I was probably about 8. She was about 16 or 17. But she called me her boyfriend. And so, in my head,
Mhm.
I was her boyfriend.
That's right.
She's going to be my wife.
Right.
And so every time I know I'm going to be in her presence,
Mhm.
I will take gifts for her.
Mm.
Gifts like berries, oranges, rose apples, whatever.
Fruit man.
so fruit of the street. Speaking about faith,
Mhm.
I ran upstairs, up to the bush to get a kneesberry. No, I don't have ripe kneesberries up there now.
Mhm.
I'm running up there to get a kneesberry to bring to my girlfriend,
That's right.
right? So it's a given that I'm gonna find a rat Neesbury. On the way up there, just before I went to pick up the Neesbury, I didn't even know that no, I'm thinking about it, I didn't know my faith was so strong. To go to pick up the Neesbury, the rain came down. I mean, Robert, the raindrops are big like this mouse. And I remember that my mother said, if your faith is as small as a mustard seed, you could speak to the mountains and say, be moved, and they're removed. Now, I didn't exercise my faith. Lord, please give me a Neesbury. Because I know the Neesbury is going to be there. I turned my little 7-year-old finger up in the air and pointed the rain and said, stop.
Mm.
And you know why I wanted the rain to stop? Because I wanted to see Elsa.
That was the name of the girl.
Yes.
Because you're going to get the Neesbury and you're
Elsa.
going to bring it to her.
And the social is outside and rain is coming. And when I point up in the brother, I said, stop. And the rain, I said, in the name of Jesus, stop. And it just stopped.
Yeah. Speak to the wind.
See, you understand what I'm saying? That was the kind of crazy faith. Not church, God.
And it's interesting that you'll talk about it now and we'll laugh because I guess now we know better and we know that shouldn't work. But in your youth, you didn't have the good sense to know
No. There was no theological explanation.
Yes.
There was no theological explanation that that wouldn't work. That God wouldn't honor your faith.
Exactly. And that's what I'm coming around to, in that sometimes as we get older, we get more sense. And the sense, and the sense beats out the faith out of us, because God says, I mean, not just faith like a mustard seed, but be like little children. To get back to that little children faith, to get back to that place where you can give thanks to your mother for putting that in you, for introducing you to that kind of real faith where you just know it's going to work. You're going to point and it's going to work. There's not even a question.
But Robert, you don't understand what I'm saying. I didn't know that. No thinking. I don't know I'm going to find a ripe Neesbury. And I was in rushing, so I was just going to pick up the Neesbury.
Yes. And it was going to be ripe.
And it was going to be ripe.
The only thing that was standing in your way at the time was the rain.
So I didn't even realize that I exercised faith twice. Yeah.
Right? And I guess you mentioned your father.
Yes. Yeah, I give credit to my father as it relates to the fitness side of me, because what my dad used to do with us as boys is every morning at around 6 o'clock, he would go running. And when he goes running, he would take me and my brother up to this specific hill that we run back and forth on. And after we finish doing the running, we'll do some push-ups and stuff. So he started us off on that journey of keeping ourselves fit. And then as I grow older, I maintain that, and friends around me, when we used to watch Dragon Ball Z and we feel like we're Vegeta and they do the 1,000 push-ups and stuff like that, we still, as a part of our play, do these things to be doing our push-ups. Who can do the most push-ups, or who can do the more sit-ups or anything like that. So my dad started me off on the foundation, and it became a part of me as a child. So I was about probably like 10, 11, when we could go running on the streets with him. He would have taken us, and it just became a part of me. And the environment, the friends that I had, we all just wanted to be fit and outdo each other in our competitive way. So that lined up to where I'm at right now.
And the interesting thing as we think about this is that these persons are allies along the way that are helping us on the path. And so being able to also say thank you to our younger selves, but also express some appreciation and gratitude to the allies along the way. So your father, your mother, or are there any other persons that you'd like to say thank you to as you walked along the way?
Well, we first said thank to two people already, ourselves and our parents.
Yes.
I should also say thanks to my mom as well too, because my mom also, in her subtle little way, wanted to be healthy as it relates to food. She didn't want to eat too much. She didn't want to eat the processed food. She wanted to make sure she stays slim. She wanted to make sure she's healthy and fit. And then on that side of things, it came the food consciousness for me as it relates to fitness. Came from my dad, the active part, and my mom came with the part of like being conscious about how you eat and how you look and stuff like that. So,
And you did mention that part, but no, you also not just help persons to exercise, but you also
yeah,
help them to work through the diet part.
yeah,
'Cause
also help to help them with the diet part, calories and what it does, whether you want to increase muscle or you want to maintain or lose body fat, and food suggestion and stuff like that. Yeah, so as a part of my Oscore fitness platform, as I made mention earlier, it's not just about fitness, because fitness is the smaller part of things. It's about managing your diet and managing your stress level. So it's also mental, and it's also talking about spiritual stuff and practices that I do as well too. Yeah, so all of that combined in a holistic sense of things that I do. And if anyone wants to find out where you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on Oscore Fitness, and my contact number is 1345-525-8622. Those are two accesses you can get to me to find out about more training or nutrition, and just to talk about health and wellness.
no problem, no problem. You mentioned the mental, and I want to come back to that, but I want to swing back over to Dwayne to see if are there any other persons along the way that were critical to helping you to, or allies on your path.
Well, growing up, I discovered some things early. Like, I special gift for me. The first time I went around a piano, I played it, and I thought it was natural. Didn't know it was like a gift, right? Again, my mother identified that. She bought a little thing and brought it home, and I just played. She would have been singing in the house, and so I'll be singing with her, singing harmony with her. That's when I discovered my singing talent as well. But the other person that I really want to thank, there's several persons,
Yes.
right? But from I'm talking from that young age.
Besides Elsa.
I want to thank Elsa for teaching me how to deal with broken heart. Because at a very young age,
You get that early.
she got married to a ugly man.
And you knew you looked better.
You were the special one,
I-
not chosen.
After you stopped the rain.
Right? Right? And broken heart, like real broken heart. But I've learned through that experience from a young age to not just put your trust in man, and persons will say things, and they don't mean to hurt your feelings. They might say things just from a different perspective.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure you understand what is being said, you know. So I want to thank her for teaching me how to deal with broken hearts.
And I appreciate you going there, because I wanted to come around.
It sounds very trivial.
No,
but
no.
You don't understand. I learned that very
Yes.
early. I learned that from 8,
Yes.
and that was a think about somebody who just stopped rain from falling.
Because you're in love with this lady, and here she is going off with someone else.
Think about that in my head. God confirmed that this is my. I mean,
Yes.
I didn't even know that I should be wanting a girl that is 19, 20 when I'm 8. And I thought it was confirmed by God.
If he stops the rain, clearly
Yes.
he's approved.
Yes, but she didn't even know that.
She didn't even know that.
But it brings up the interesting topic of being able to get to that place of maturity where you can look back and go, are there negative experiences that you've since been able to realize that were helpful to you?
Yeah.
So in the moment, right, even with just Elsa, in the moment, you would have been crushed.
Yeah.
But no, you can approach that with, oh, thank you.
I remember when I, because of my musical background, I wanted to go to Jamaica School of Music. um, that was my passion. I wanted to go there. I wanted to just do music. Because music for me was, you can talk but you can't read.
Mm-hmm.
I could play very well, but if you give me a music test,
You don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on. It doesn't even make sense, right? It doesn't even, I don't understand why they use that kind of codes for music anyway,
You
right?
see things different.
Yeah.
That's what.
um some smart person
Mm-hmm.
in my church told my mother not to let, if you want to lose your son,
Send him to music
send
school.
him to Jamaica School of Music. They only have homosexuals up there,
Mhm.
blah 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 blah. Very. So I opted to go to another approved, I won't say another approved institution,
Mhm.
where I went there. That's where I went there and I saw homosexuals. That's where I went there
Mhm.
and saw
All the
like,
things that you're running away
all
from
the
music
things that
school.
I was told not to go to music school for.
Okay.
Right? Um, and while I thought that was my passion, I realized that
And before you translate the passion, I imagine in that moment you'd have been angry because music school is a place that you wanted to be,
yeah,
and the things that were stopping you from getting to music school were right here.
yeah,
So why am I not at music school again? That would have filled you with anger.
yes, yes. To the part where I didn't even choose to study music
Mm.
where I went,
Even though music was available.
even though music was available. That's how angry I was.
Mhm.
I was angry, like really, really angry.
Mhm.
But it turned out that my journey there at that school, and it's not so much the thing that I learned academically. The experiences that I had there would have had a great impact on my life, even to today.
Even to today. Okay. So you were where you needed to be, not necessarily where you wanted to be.
Let's say that God used the situation. God worked in the situation.
Okay.
Yes,
Fair enough.
yes.
Fair enough.
Because I think that's what the Bible means
When it
it's
says
not
all things work to the
no,
good.
God will work all
Yes.
things together.
So it's not that all things are
No,
good.
No. The real definition of that, translation of that passage is, if you were to look at the Greek, is that God will work all things together for good for those who love Him.
So irrespective of what happened,
God will work it out.
He'll work it out.
Yeah.
Okay. Oz, how about you? Something that may have been painful at the time, right? Maybe brought great anger, but you've since been able to come to the place where you're like, oh, cool.
Well,
God really turned that one around.
in my younger years, I can't necessarily recall on a scenario or situation that made me really angry or upset that pushed me into living out my passion or what I am thankful for now. As I've gotten older, I've had different experiences which which caused me to be upset, caused me to be angry, and the only thing or one of the thing that helped me is exercise.
Okay.
And exercise was a means and a way of me overcoming this specific challenge or this scenario or this situation. So I look back on it and I can say, okay, because of this experience, it allowed me to train a little bit harder, train a little bit more days, and it made me get a little bit more stronger and put on a little bit more muscle or whatever it may be, and feel a little bit more confident about myself. So yeah, as in this my older years, I'm not very old, 35. It's my experience as an adult that caused me to feel down. Exercise has picked me up, and I'm grateful for those scenarios to give me that little extra push to not skip the Monday when I felt like I wanted to skip the Monday, or skip the Tuesday when I felt like I said no, I can't let myself down because of this situation, and it made me drive forward even stronger and faster.
Fair enough, fair enough. And I guess the things that you may still be resolving themselves, you're still working through that to get to the place where, hey, maybe when you get to Dwayne's 50, you can go, oh yeah, that's why I give thanks.
So when I reach 50 like Dwayne, I can look at my 35-year-old and say thank you for keep going.
Appreciate that. So we've been spending the last half an hour talking about gratitude and understanding, or trying to understand or connect with our younger selves, on why, what we were appreciating about our younger selves, and even the allies along the way. You're listening to The Wrecking Trade right here on Praise 87.9 FM. Why do you think it's important for us to do something like this?
Practice gratitude?
Yeah.
Well, for me personally, I always have this saying within my own little secret time. I say gratitude is the best attitude that you can have. You know what I mean? Like for me, I exercise gratitude in several different ways, and I find that the more you're grateful, the more you find that you are being blessed. You find people, situations, and circumstances start to work in your favor when you send out a level of gratitude, gratitude to God. For the simple little things that you have in your life. We want the big things, but first we have to learn how to be thankful for the small things. And for me, first thing when I get up in the morning, and last thing when the sun is setting, I just try to exercise this level of gratitude, reflect on my day, when it's ended, and when I wake up, reflecting on what I have passed through and where I'm at and what I want to achieve throughout the day. And it sets you in a positive mindset, frame of mind, an attitude to carry out through the day, because then you become present and aware that at least I have a roof over my head, at least I have a job that I can go to, at least I can buy lunch today, little things like these. And the more you look at the positive, the less negative you see. Whatever you look for is what you're going to find. And when you exercise gratitude, it causes you to focus on those positive and set your mindset in the right place.
Osmond, I was right here in this, probably not on this seat, but Brian Rigby was across from me. I was interviewing him. It was the hardest interview I've ever done. Brian had a pump on his back. First I'm seeing that in my life. I didn't know that there was something designed to help you to breathe. It looked uncomfortable. It sounded uncomfortable. And I didn't realize, like, you can swim, so this will happen to you. But Robert might go on in the water and have to hurry up and come back up, because he held his breath a little long.
Yeah.
Breathing for me was just a natural thing, unless you have some little congestion or whatever. And even so, if you're not asthmatic, then you don't experience that. But when you realize that you have to have something big on your back, bigger than a laptop, that's making a noise all through the day and night, in order for you to breathe. Listen, man, that day I had to give God so much thanks that I could breathe freely. Simple things like that. Things that we take for granted. And I think that if Robert, to your question, if you exercise gratitude for all the good things that you benefit, and I mean, in the Christian world, we would attribute it to God, but just the law of life. If you exercise gratitude to all of the things that you experience on a daily, and whether you're comparing yourself with someone else who doesn't have it or not, but if you should just focus on giving gratitude to the things that you can't control, it make a world of difference. you'll be so surprised to see how productive your day is.
And Osmond said it, and it's interesting that he said, whatever you look for, you will find. So if you spend your time looking for things to be grateful for, you're going to find more
All
things
day.
to be grateful for
All day.
all day.
All day.
And so it's interesting understanding that. Why is gratitude then not more commonplace? Why more so in our culture we may tend more, lean more towards the negative, or highlighting the opportunities to improve as opposed to focusing on the things that we can actually be grateful for?
I think it's because, well, it's changing each day.
Mm-hmm.
It's changing more and more each day. As so knowledge
Is knowledge increase?
is natural. As information gets more readily
Ready.
available,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I don't think all information is knowledge, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. As information gets more and more available, then persons feel like, because I have this amount of information in that subject area
Mm-hmm.
and this amount of information in that makes me an expert, which means I can do everything.
Mm.
We tend to start not paying attention to who's supplying all of this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you start seeing yourself as the master. See, who you don't need to, and I'm glad you thank yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you start seeing yourself like there's no outside force
Mm-hmm.
that is
Helping me,
helping me,
the allies.
because I am an expert at this. I'm an expert at that. I did this. I did that. I did that. I created this. I solved
I
that
brought
problem.
me here.
I brought me. I work hard. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I employ the gardener. I provide a job for him.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see him cutting a yard to thank him for. I
He should be
created-
grateful to me.
Yeah. I created employment for the cook.
Mhm.
I created employment for the nanny.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so the with the inception of information and being experts, we become selfish. I think we have reached a point in our lifetime where
We lose sight.
selfishness is one of the most prominent feature in the world.
Wow.
I think one of the reasons why people are not exercising gratitude these days is because they don't see what they have to be grateful for until they lose it. Sometimes, like as you said, you can breathe freely, but if you lose and you have to go on an oxygen tank on your back, you'll have more gratitude for breathing. So people nowadays is just, and they compare themselves to other people, and because they compare themselves to other people and what they have and they don't have it, then it's a cycle of negativity that keeps flowing through. So they miss the fact that okay, I had a home cooked meal last night. They miss the fact that this kid went to school and they came back home safely. They miss the fact that they can pay their rent every month. But when they look at somebody in a negative way that might have a bigger house or a nicer car or seemingly more loving family or whatever it is, it goes back to my point, is that what you're looking for,
You will find.
you will find. You know what I mean? And sometimes we just lose being present and understand that the simplicity of life is something that we can really, really be grateful for. But people get distracted of the simplicity and look at more materialistic things. But until sometimes we lose it, we don't really exercise that level of gratitude to know how valuable that was for us until it's gone.
Appreciate that. And I mean, if you do want to share your own gratitude story, the number to call is 945-9029. Again, 945-9029. Dwayne, you're going to share something.
Yeah, I'm going right back to my point, right? And it depends on where you are. It depends on what your earning power is. Because while I might have freckles, or if I'm a woman, I have big breasts, or small breasts, and I have money. Instead of being grateful to God for them, I could go fix it the way I want it. You understand what I'm saying? Again, selfishness robs us of that gratitude.
So because we're so, and we have the tendency to focus on ourselves.
Yes.
If Osmond has a nicer car, then my focus on self is why I can't have a nicer car, instead of appreciating the car that I have, and what do I need to do to get that nice car. And we get on that treadmill, that wheel of what is the next thing for me, what more can I get, what more can I, me, as opposed to giving thanks for what I've already been blessed with, and then seeing an opportunity to bless others.
And the Record Trade last week Monday night spoke of the 70 10 10
10.
Right? And one of those significant tens is
Charity.
And that's a straight Bible principle.
Yes.
Right? Now, with the quest of trying to satisfy the selfishness, right? You would miss out on that last 10 because you can't afford to give
take
that
anything away from yourself.
Take anything away from yourself in an effort to build up self more. And biblically, that might be what is preventing you
from moving forward
where you want to go anyway.
So the thing that you want, which is to get more, is being hindered by the fact that you can't give more to realize that, hey, there's more to be gotten.
Yeah.
Right? I think the expression goes, you can't, if you're busy holding on to whatever is in your hand, you can't get more because there's no room.
Your hand is closed.
Your hand is closed. You have to open your hand in order to receive and risk losing what you have, giving up what you already have.
I find that a secret to my blessing is me giving so much more, and in return, like, blessings just come from other people. Blessings just come in other form.
I don't think that you have enough testimonies like I do in that regard.
Yeah.
Really,
secret to receiving is to give.
honestly. And it's not, and the difference is different from giving to receive.
Yeah.
As opposed to just
Giving.
Yeah.
because you were inspired to and your brain pressed.
Got you.
Right.
Got you. So, having looked at this, and I mean, I imagine this is not something that is new to either of you coming into this conversation. So, how have these things impacted how you approach life today?
You want to go ask me?
You first.
All right. So, I love my wife a lot. I love my family a whole lot. And sometimes, and please just listen to me out carefully, right?
We're hearing.
If I had a choice to choose to be single and to be married at the same time, probably I would choose both.
We're listening.
Let me explain why. There are sometimes I'm impressed to make some decisions, some giveaway decisions that I don't share with anybody. I just do it. Because right off the bat, God just worked in some miraculous ways. In COVID, after COVID, I was talking to my friend in Jamaica who was in the sound business, who was like having a hard time. Hard time. He was trying to buy some equipment. He actually had them and was paying an installment. But it was a lot of money. I went there and I heard them and I thought it was crap. Right? But he was trying to own them. He already was in $1.2 million. he paid that already.
Jamaican dollars.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's $1.2 million wherever we are, right?
Yes.
It's after COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Things rough, not going on. Plus he had a backlog from those months that he didn't pay in COVID.
Mm.
Right? I felt it so much for him. I had a system here. In my heart, now listen, I didn't share this with anybody, not even persons who in my team.
Mm-hmm.
Whole world here.
In my heart, I made a conscious decision
Mm-hmm.
to give him
The system.
my system.
Mm.
In my heart, I made a conscious decision.
Mm-hmm. What happened to your heart?
When I made that decision, the person who sold me the system,
Mm-hmm.
now I didn't even tell him yet, but I'm sure that God knows my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna give it to him. The person who sold me the system told me they were gonna give me a brand new system.
Mm. So
So
all you needed
you
was
had a system, and you were gonna get a new one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But you made
No.
the commitment
But
in
I
your
made
heart
a commitment in
to
my
give it
heart.
away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because my heart really reached out to the brother.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm
Yes.
saying? And that's just one of a million stories. Like one, I'm gonna tell you something else. I went to Jamaica. I went to a funeral,
Mm-hmm.
and I had one keyboard. And when I went down there, someone said to me, "Euter, you don't know when we can get a good keyboard to buy second hand because the one that I have don't work." And blah blah blah. And I don't know how it came out of me. I just said things that I have one I can give you.
Mm-hmm. So not even buy a second and I'll give you.
I'll give you mine.
Mm-hmm.
I came up the Monday morning. I went to Cayman Airways Cargo and I sent down the keyboard. Cost me $119 to send it.
Mhm.
For some
So it's not even just a giveaway.
No, it
you had to
cost me.
pay
Yeah.
to give it away.
When I sent it, he didn't pick it up until about 2 weeks after.
Mm.
Because for some reason he didn't, I don't know if he didn't believe, you know, like Jamaican people got foreign and said they're gonna send something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Alright? This was a Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
The Thursday night, I was run by famous restaurant, and my phone rang. Friend called me.
This is the guy.
Another friend called me.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne, I have a toy for you. When I went there, it was a very expensive piano.
Mm.
Called my wife. Katie, so and so brought me a piano. Dwayne, don't bring anything else in this house. You have in a space. I spent all the drive going up. Sean Warren was ringing the stuff up for me with the truck. Spent all the time going up calling Junior. Junior doesn't like to hear the story. Trying to call Junior. Said, Junior, I need to drop this piano by you.
You say, give it a home until.
Couldn't get Junior. Went home. I said, Katie, at least I have to at least take it out and look at it. She said, alright. I'll take it out. She put it right there, sir. She just showed me somewhere to put it. Fast forward. Sunday, Junior came by the house. Junior, this was supposed to be your piano.
Mm-hmm.
Katie said she didn't have any space until she saw it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even look up the brand and the model of the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Junior.
Let alone the cost.
Junior being
Junior.
the, what you call it, millennial,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
went and, brother man, this is $16,000.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying?
And so the guy who was able to point at this guy and say, hey, rain, stop. You're being able to transition to the place where through acting on faith. Not again, not looking, because I guess when you're giving up the piano, the keyboard, and when you're giving away the system, it
No.
wasn't, you didn't have $16,000 in mind or a new system in
No,
mind. You were
no,
just
no.
making that commitment,
No.
and here it was, immediately.
Yeah.
I've realized, and from my experience, when there's a genuineness of you wanting to give something or do something for someone, something always in every single time come back around better.
Yeah.
It always falls in a. I believe in God, and I believe in manifestation, and I believe in that what you think, you speak, and what you speak, you tend to feel and you tend to act. And I try to align those things together in order to like use the godly power given to us by God to bring some things into my life. And I find that when you have a level of, a lot of time things happen quickly when you have an emotional response, like you feel it in your stomach, you feel it in your chest. When you have those deep shockwave feeling, things tend to magically just appear. So like you, when you talk about, there's a difference in the different type of giving. When you give in a place of not expecting anything back but genuinely want to help, that's when most of the times, and all the times for me, the blessings just fall into place. So I have applied that to my life consciously. I'm a very giving person. Like if you ask me without hesitating, I just want to give, and I believe that's why a lot of years in my life I'm so blessed, because I just love to give, and as you give, you receive.
Amen. And I mean, it goes back to Philippians 4 verse 8. It says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue in them, think on these things, be of any praise, think on these things. But then 9 goes on to say, those things which ye have both learned and received and heard and seen, do, and the God of peace shall be with you. Right? And peace and blessings, all of those come. So what and the focusing on these is not so that this will happen. It just so happens that it follows that when you're here, because when you're here, the interesting thing is that even if you didn't get the keyboard, you'd have been fine.
Robert, some years ago, I went to do an installation at a church. A church here in Cayman. I went to install a system. I went, got out, installed, set up. So I even brought some guys with me. Guys who were visiting Cayman, and they stayed with me all night, doing whatever. And then when I went to the office the next day, the pastor said to me, "What's the cost? What's the bill?" And again, stupidly, in some people's mind, I said, I saw anxiousness on their face, like they were worried.
Expecting a huge bill.
Price, no.
And how we gonna pay this?
And I said, it's fine. It's alright. It's pro bono. It's on the house. And they said, really? I said, yes. Then the following, listen now, and I left.
Fine in the good that you have just done.
Yeah. I left. The next day they called me back to show them something. What they wanted to know is how to list, this was some years ago, how to list the products on EK Trade. The ones that they took out, which was a relatively good system. And I said, well, you know, my brother is doing a school in Jamaica, and if you come with a price, maybe I could just buy it. You know, you know what the pastor said to me, Dwayne? Because you didn't charge us, we won't charge you. And the value of what I got would have been much more
Than what you'd have charged.
than what the job would cost to do. Whether I would charge as much or not, but Yeah, see if you understand what I'm saying. Just like so.
Always.
And so good kind of repeats itself and plays itself. So when we do good for each other, when we do good to each other, that comes back to us, not value for value, but it's a mixed down, shaken, and multiplied, right?
Robert, I'm glad you had this show tonight because there's something that I want everybody in Cayman to hear. And if whatever church you're from, tell them, take this message. The thing that is weakening the effectiveness of God in Cayman is not because God is not strong and powerful. Churches overall don't show enough love to each other. You can't think that it's in isolation. You're in a good relationship with God and there's nothing horizontal. Right? It's just a vertical relationship and you think that all is well. Right? Be kind. I have gone to places in Cayman, Paradise Cayman, where you'll be shocked to see the kind of lifestyle that people live in this paradise.
Need and pain
In this 5-inch footprint of paradise. It was when I went out with the Lions Club to do their annual Christmas gift thing. I went and saw some things. And you couldn't be... I would never ever know that those places existed in Cayman. You know? And we complain about some things. We live like... we praise God and we talk about our achievements and we're experts in this and and then there are persons right around the corner from us who are suffering right here, and there's enough resources which if we all should just be kind once a day to somebody would make a huge difference.
We will all be blessed.
And if the church collectively come with one heart, like how you would give away a system or you'd give away a piano, they will in return get the same kind of blessing in another way. The church
just think about it. Think about all the blessings. Just
mixed
think
down,
about
multiplied.
Think about all the blessings. Just think about all the blessings.
Think about all the blessings that we may be missing out on.
Yes.
That we may be losing the opportunities for because
Churches
we're busy.
want church, peoples want job, church want this. If we just give all of those problems will be fixed.
Everything will be fixed.
Yeah.
It's one simple equation to life.
Okay.
According to the Bible.
So let's
love
put-
your neighbor as yourself.
Yes.
So let's put that into place. What is something then, as we wrap up, because we only have minutes. Dwayne loves to bring the show past 9 o'clock, right?
We have 1 minute. We have 45 seconds.
As we look right here, what is one thing that you would like to, 10 years from now, so 45-year-old self, 60-year-old self, what is one thing that you would like to give yourself thanks for, or thank yourself for now, so that thing that in the future has come into being?
I would really thank myself for being able to share my experiences tonight, and that it would have impacted at least one person who would pay it forward.
Okay. And then that mix down that can go forward.
Yeah, I would want to thank myself for the hard work that I'm putting in now to build a business for the future that will be taking care of my family, myself, and everyone that I love. And as like with Dwayne, coming in contact with people and sharing positive experiences. I would want to tell myself thanks, because in the end, these things will follow you as blessings.
And as those things happen, because I mean, you're both entrepreneurs, you're both businessmen, and part of the blessings that you are blessed with, you get an opportunity to give away things, to bless others. So the blessings don't just stick with your family or your circle, but they seem to radiate outward to just random persons.
Right.
Okay. Anything, final thoughts that you want to share as we close? How do
Do
people
good.
find you? Mm-hmm.
Do good and good will come back to you. Again, I'm Oscore Fitness. I am a fitness brand that I represent. If anyone is interested in getting your health to the next level, mentally, physically, and I leave the spiritually to my brothers here and also myself, you can reach out to me on Instagram, Oscore Fitness, or you can call me at 1345-525-8622 and we can chat and discuss as to where you want to go.
Awesome.
Uh, I, if you have a challenge,
Mm-hmm.
being, and I'm not telling you to be stupid,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't just give away everything I have. However, the first voice that you hear, or the first impression that you get in your heart to say share, listen to it. It's always, and I'm not talking about people coming to you ask you. I'm thinking about
When you feel
when
impressed.
you feel that impression, don't fight it. It's an opportunity for a blessing.
Amen. And as we look at that, we tend to shift into the gear of thinking that we live in a rough world, we live in a difficult world, we live in a space where, we have to, like you said, the good sense gets beaten out of the child in us.
Yes.
And we are now focused on the negatives and focused on the things that may happen. But if we are able to reconnect with that child within us, to be able to give freely, to be able to love freely, to be able to connect with each other, what can we do when we're pressed together, when we're of the same mind, when you can really connect and create goodness, bring goodness, help to usher in an era of goodness where we together can really touch the hand of God and see his blessings flow out on all of us. This has been...
Robert, don't need one last bit. I just need to share this.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we are, whether we're Christians or not, you're encouraged not to do this. I went to the subway one night last week or whatever. There was a guy out at the front. Obviously, he's a coke addict, drug addict, right? One would certainly not want to give him money. Some would not want to give him food because they would say, go work or whatever. But the truth is, 9 out of 10 times, because that guy doesn't work and he has a habit, he has to be hungry. Think about it. 9 out of 10 times he has to be hungry. And he came up to me and he said, sir, if by any chance you could get me a cookie?
Just a cookie.
It's a cookie. And I went inside and I bought him a proper sandwich, drink, and I got him his cookie. And let me tell you something, right? The guy thanked me so much. I heard a man cussing to say, I shouldn't give him something to eat. And in my head I'm saying, seriously? You're so blessed that you're able to buy your own food. I didn't say it to him, but I'm just saying to myself, you're so blessed to buy your own food. And before you pay attention in thanking God that you're able to buy your food and you're not in this position, because none of us are immune to being in the same exact position. No matter how mature we think we are.
He said, but by the grace of God.
But by the grace of God. And don't, if you're inclined and you're impressed by whatever spirit to help even this kind of person, go ahead.
Help.
Go ahead and do it. And without him looking for anything. Just bless him because you're already blessed.
Just to bring good into the world.
Yeah.
Amen. This has been another incredible episode of The Wrecking Trade, and I express my appreciation to both of you for being here tonight so that we can all together benefit, connect around this idea of gratitude. Until next time, I'm Robert Lynch.
Oh, that was great.